Good morning, I'm Bethany Bunn. This is Red Hot Yoga, Hot 2. Good morning all. How are you? Good, welcome. This is Hot Level 2. So we start off in an active child's pose. This class bridges the gap between the regular Hot Level 1 and Power 1. So you're going to learn all the poses that we do in the Power Level 1, all of the fundamental poses in this class, but in the hot style, so that you can hold the poses, learn them, enjoy them. Active Child's is knees just to the inside edge of the mat, tops of the feet down, big toes touching, arms long out in front of you, forehead on the mat, hips and buttocks easing back towards your heels. Now it's more important that you have your forehead onto the mat than your seat touching your heels. That will happen over time. You may find that the space where your neck meets your shoulders feels a little bit tight, and so if you need to, take your arms a little further apart. And you can also lengthen the arms a little bit more forward to create some more space in your side bodies. When you position your forehead, do so in such a way that the back of the neck feels long towards the crown of the head. You can move the chin a little bit towards the chest, or you can move the chin a little bit away from the chest so that you can find that space in the back of your neck. And each day is just a little bit different depending on the level of tension that you may hold around your neck and shoulders. So don't just assume that what you did yesterday or last week is going to be the same today. Each and every day, each and every moment is different. Start breathing all over all sides of your chest. And notice if your breath flows evenly all through all sides of your chest, or if there is one side that's easier to breathe into. Notice if you're breathing near the breastbone, or can you get your breath down around the hips? Can you breathe behind the heart? Notice these things, become aware. Your yoga practice is about awareness. Your yoga practice is a process that will end suffering, but it is a process. So as you're breathing in and out, take the time to focus and concentrate on moving your breath all over all sides of your chest. It may take several breaths to start feeling this happen. Once you feel like you can take a complete, full, deep breath in and out through the nose only, then start breathing parallel. And your inhalations and your exhalations, lasting the same length of time, connects the body and the mind through the breath. And because the breath is always in the present moment, you are in the present moment whenever you are focused on your breathing. You can also use what is called Ujjayi style breath. This is breath that you can feel, but you can also hear it. The sound helps to keep your attention on the breath. It's known as the conqueror's breath. And it takes quite a bit of discipline to breathe in this way throughout your practice. Your inner upper thighs should be in contact with your low ribs. If you need to make an adjustment, do that. Those of you who are back injured or pregnant need that upper to lower body support. Notice if you have any gripping in the body, like where your hips meet your thighs or around your jaw. And ease that gripping by relaxing a little bit more deeply with your exhalation breath. Use your inhalation breath to lengthen you through the spine, all the way through the neck and the crown of the head. And the exhalation to go a little bit deeper into the pose. Get a little stronger, more grounded, and relaxed at the same time. A classic yogic breath is 5 counts in and 5 counts out, starting at your tailbone, breathing in for 2, 3, 4, 5, And then from the crown all the way back down, exhaling all the way down through the low back, hips and thighs. Your next inhalation, starting low as you can, maybe in your toes, traveling all the way up through the neck, shoulders, wrists, and fingertips. And as you exhale, let your exhalation wash down your spine, your sides, your thighs, all the way into the earth through your toes. Take 3 more breaths this way. Just allowing your breath to move through your body. Bringing your awareness to this moment. Noticing how you feel today, physically, emotionally, mentally. Practice acceptance. Set an intention for your class. Once you've set an intention, you release it into the universe with total trust and no condition. And taking 1 more breath here, nice, deep, full, complete, even breath. At the bottom of the exhalation, take the low belly in, up and back. And on your next inhale, we rise up onto all fours. And we're gonna line up the wrists underneath the shoulders, spreading the fingers wide. Line up the knees underneath the hips. Line up the feet behind your knees. And you can choose to keep the tops of your feet down, or you may want to tuck your toes forward. Feel what's right for you this morning. Take a deep inhale with a neutral spine from your tail to your crown. And on your exhale breath, tucking the tail, start rounding your back upward towards the sky. Tucking your chin last. On the inhale breath, lifting from the chin and chest, spine goes toward the mat, and the tail is going to lift up last. This is cow. And then loop the tail under, rounding the back, tucking your chin last. This is cat. And move into 6 more rounds of cat-cows. Move your hips forward and back. You can make circular motions with your hips, going in both directions an equal number of times. Feel free to bring your cows into modified upward facing dogs, or round your back so deep in your cat that you drag up onto your fingertips. You can thread the needle, taking 1 arm underneath the other, opening up all through your side body, shoulder and neck. Mirror and match your side, so whatever you do on one side, do on the other side for the same length of time in the same way. You're going to finish up with your last rounds, neutralize into your spine. Fingers spread open wide, hands shoulder distance apart, eyes of the elbows looking forward or at each other, so there's a rotation in the shoulders, exactly. And then tuck your toes forward. Take a deep inhale in the space between your shoulder blades, fill that space up. And on the exhale, lift your seat up and back into downward facing dog. Your toes may need to move back 1 inch or 2 away from your hands, parallel and hip distance your feet. And we're going to walk that dog, bending alternate knees, taking a little bit of hang time in each of your heels as you pedal your feet. You can lift up one leg, drop the heel toward the opposite buttock, opening up in the hip, in the side body, roll the ankle out, go in both directions to both sides. You may like to turn your feet to the left and drop your hips down to the right and vice versa. Stretching through your IT band. And then we're going to hold our downward facing dog for 2 more breaths. Now in this sequence, we come to down dog a few times. When you practice power classes, you're in down dog a lot. It's a really important pose. Legs engaging, arms engaging, eyes at the elbows looking at each other, feet parallel, hands parallel. Be mindful your hands and feet look the same. Low belly in, head relaxing, heels descending. To resting position, it's a place to reconnect with the breath and a place to realign. Look to the space between your hands, and then we're going to walk up into that space and take your feet hips distance or even wider as you hinge forward from the hips. You may need to bend your knees to get your low ribs to touch your high thighs. Back injured pregnant, keep your hands on the ground for support. Otherwise, grab opposite elbows, putting thumbs in the creases of the elbows, and turning the head right and left in a no motion. Nodding the head yes. And taking the head around in little circles, going in both directions. Stilling the head and switching the grip. The other forearms in front, and then we move the hips from side to side. Hips left, torso right, and vice versa. Side to side, back and forth. Little weight forward toward the toes, hips aligning over ankle bones. Bring it center line, hanging the arms down. Now if you're back injured or you're pregnant, you leave your feet hip distance, your knees bending. You'll walk your hands up your legs. Otherwise, toe heel your feet so that they come side by side. Hit your thighs back, tucking the tail down. Slowly round yourself upright. Once you're upright, take your shoulders down and back 2 times. Now you want to come to a spot on your mat where if you were to reach your arms out to the right and to the left, you wouldn't hit your neighbors. So go ahead and give yourself some personal space. If you want to move your mat into the middle row, there's a little bit of space there. You could do that as well. And we're going to establish Samastiti. This is the equal standing pose. So you bring your toes and your heels, your ankles to touch unless you're modifying with hip distance. Press down into the balls of your big toes, balls of your pinky toes, and take some weight towards your heels. Then rest your toes. Engaging your thighs, tucking your tail, pulling in your low belly. On the inhale breath, we're going to reach the arms upward towards the sky to create space all through the side bodies. And then turn the palms out, reach the arms out, and as the arms are coming down, going upward through your breastbone, equal standing pose. You may find your hands hover anywhere from 2 to 10 inches from your side bodies, and this is perfect. We're going to come back to this position in between all of our standing poses. Let's get warmed up. On the inhale breath, raise your arms above your head into Urdhva Hastasana. Hands are shoulder distance apart. Gaze is up to the space between the hands. Feet are grounded, thighs are engaging, low belly in, chest is lifting. Bend your knees now and sit to an imaginary chair. And right away, we're going to take the hands to heart center. Take a deep inhale, and on the exhale, take your left elbow to the outside of your right thigh, turning and twisting your chair. Now don't force this twist. It's the very first twist, I'm assuming for most of you this morning, unless you got up at 4 or 5. Turning the waist on Sunday, turning the chest, turning the shoulders, turning the neck. Keep your knees side by side. You'll notice that your outer knee tries to creep forward. Good adjustments. Your seat should be lower than your heart, and your heart should be lower than your head. Then come to center line, hands to the ground, toe heel your feet apart, and bend your knees deeply so your ribs touch your thighs. Take your peace fingers, hook them around your big toes. So middle and index fingers around big toes, palms facing each other. This is Pada Kustasana. Take an inhale, lengthen the spine, and on the exhale, bend the elbows. Fold, lifting the seat skyward. Pull your shoulder blades down away from your neck. Take a little bit of weight forward towards your toes. Pull your low belly in. Push your ribs further down your thighs. And breathe into your hamstrings or wherever else you're tight. Pick one place at a time so you don't get overwhelmed if you have a lot of tight spots. It's early. One more breath. Release your hands from your toes. Toe heel your feet side by side unless you're modified. Bend the knees, arms over the head. Inhale, we rise all the way up. And on the exhale breath, we take the arms outward and down by our sides. Standing tall and still, Samastiti. Take a breath in and out through your nose. Inhale, raise your arms above your head into Urdhva Hastasana, upward hands. Gaze to the space in between the hands. Ground your feet, engage your thighs, tuck your tail, pull in your belly, lift your chest, lengthen through your arms, lengthening through your sides. Then bending the knees and sitting down, Utkatasana. And right away, we bring the hands to heart center. Take an inhale breath, and on the exhale, taking your right elbow to the outside of your left thigh this time, turning and twisting your chair. Keep your knees side by side. Be gentle with this twist, don't force it, just notice how you're feeling. Just waking up, turning the waist, turning the chest, turning the shoulders, turning the neck. Seat lower than heart, heart lower than head. Sit down another inch, turn a little more, and release the hands to the floor. Toe heel the feet apart, bend the knees generously, and this time you have options. You can either step onto your palms, or you can scoop up your heels into your palms. Either way is called Padahastasana, the hand to foot pose. Bending your elbows and lifting your seat, breathing into your hamstrings. If you're stepping on your palms, toes to wrists, spread your fingers wide. If you've scooped your heels, feel how the middle finger runs down the center line of the foot, and you can bring some weight forward towards the tip of that middle finger. You're going to feel the sitting bones rise higher. Squeeze the outer thighs, pull the shoulders back, relax the head, go a little deeper, and release hands from feet. Toe heel the feet side by side, bend the knees, arms above the head, inhalation breath, rise, exhalation breath, arms outward and down by your sides. And taking 2 breaths here, in and out through your nose. Second set, we're going to add a little bit of flow. You want to give yourself some space on your mat, so you may need to come a little closer to the top of your mat for this one. Inhale, raise your arms above your head into Urdhva Hastasana. Exhalation, bend your knees and sit down in your chair. Utkatasana, keeping the arms extended this time. Now in Utkatasana, you want to get your hip bones from the front to the back even with each other. Squeeze the knees and loop the tailbone under. Feel your frontal hips rising and your back hips descending. Now lift the front ribs higher. Strengthen the arms and sit lower. Sit down, sit back as the inner knees come forward. Beautiful. Bring your hands to heart center. Take an inhale, and on the exhale, take your left elbow to the outside of your right thigh, turning and twisting your chair. Parivrtta Utkatasana. And then open your pose. You're going to put your left hand down, your right arm up, turning the waist, turning the chest, turning the shoulders, turning the neck, hovering left foot up off the mat, stepping it all the way back. So you're in the revolving crescent lunge. Now if the hand on the outside of the foot is too far, put the hand on the inside of the foot, turn your waist, turn your chest, turn your shoulders, turn your neck, and then hands come to the mat, step back, downward facing dog. 2 breaths. And you can already start to feel that downward facing dog is a bit of a rest. Now those of you that know how to jump, you're welcome to do so. Otherwise you can just step up. So look up and step or jump up to the top of the mat. Folding in. Bend your knees, extend your arms above your head in prayer. Inhale, rise all the way up tall. And then exhale, breath, Samastiti. Take 2 breaths, in and out through your nose. Inhale, raise your arms above your head, Urdhva Hastasana. Bending your knees, sit down in your chair, Utkatasana. Keeping your arms extended. Find the even hips from front to back. Squeezing the knees, drawing the tailbone under, lifting the front up, strengthening the arms, sitting down and back, 1 more inch, some weight to the heels. Beautiful poses. Bring your hands to heart center. Take an inhale, and on the exhale, twist. Taking now the right elbow to the outside of the left thigh, turning and twisting your chair. Open your pose. Right hand goes down, left arm goes up. Turning the waist to the chest, the shoulders to the neck, keep those knees side by side. Hover the right foot off the mat, and then step it all the way back so you're in the revolving crescent. And if you brought your hand to the inside of your foot on the other side, go ahead and do that here. Mirror and match your sides. Be mindful not to just throw your arm back. Lift through the chest, turn the waist, chest, shoulders, neck, hands to the mat, step your arm back, downward facing dog. Beautiful poses. Take a couple of nice, deep, even breaths in and out through your nose. If at any time you get overwhelmed in any way, you lose track of your breath, it's like your breath is running away with you, take a cleansing breath if you need to reset in the nose and out the mouth. Then look up, and you can step or jump forward, folding in. Bend your knees, extend the arms above the head in prayer. Inhalation breath, rise. Exhalation breath, arms outward and down by your sides. And take 2 breaths in and out through your nose. Our last warm-up pose comes in 2 parts. We do Gomukhasana arms with eagle legs, or Garudasana and Gomukhasana. Cow face arms, eagle legs. Second set is straight on eagle. Now let me show you real quick. So one arm goes under and the other arm goes over. And this is supposed to look, I guess when you're forward, you say it looks like a cow face. I think these are supposed to be its ears. I'm not really sure. But some of the poses are named after animals. And then the legs cross over. Now, whatever arm is under, that leg crosses over. We start on the right, and so right arm is going to come under, and if this is your tight side like me, you may find that you need a strap in between your hands. Good. And then you bend your knees and take your right leg and cross it up and over, placing your foot as you're able behind your calf. Keep the elbows straight up and straight down, bending both of your knees. Squeeze and sit deeply, breathe into any tight spots. And change. To release, you just lean a little forward and slide the hands down, and then of course switch the sides. Now the left arm is under and the right arm is over. We bend the knees and taking the left leg, cross it up and over. If you are knee injured, don't wrap your foot. Square your hips, shoulders to the front wall, and bending both of your knees. Squeezing your thighs, lengthen through your arms, come a little bit lower. And changing, releasing the arms. Now we take the arms up and out, crossing the right under the left at the elbow and the wrist. The modification for the pose is elbows and palms together. Bending the knees, sit down. We're going to take the right leg and cross it up and over. As you're able, wrap it around. Square your hips and shoulders, find one point of focus, and then flying that eagle forward. Tailbone coming toward heel, chest coming onto thighs, pull in your low belly, squeeze in the thighs, squeeze the arms. 3, 2, 1, change. Arms go up, out, left, under right, elbows up, sit down, taking left leg, crossing it up over, wrapping your foot around, squaring the hips and shoulders, bending both of your knees. This pose boosts your immune system. It squeezes where you have bundles of lymph nodes. So the more you squeeze, the lower you go, the more benefit for 3, 2, 1. Arms go up, out, and down. 2 breaths. Good morning. Have some water. This is our official water break. Combined with a warrior 1 and balancing. So stand center line on your mat. Inhale, raise your arms up. Exhale, bring your arms out. Step your feet out underneath your wrists. So you have a big, wide stance. You literally have your ankle bones under your wrist bones. Hands come on the hips. Feet turn to face forward. If you have no knee issues or back issues, you can actually toe in a bit. Tailbone loops under. Shoulder heads come back. And we're going to hinge forward right where the hips meet the thighs, placing the hands onto the ground. And walking back through your legs, grabbing your ankle bones, and putting your head on the floor. Now if you have difficulty getting your head near the floor, you might need to bend your knees quite generously in order to get the head to come down closer to the mat. Shoulder blades pulled back away from the neck. Breathe very deeply, inhalations and exhalations, even. Inhalation just comes flying in, super easy. Exhalation needs to be forced until you're empty. Good. Walk your hands forward. Inhale, rise. Stay in your wide stance. Turn your left foot in 45 to 60 degrees and turn your right foot so it faces the front wall. You'll notice that your left hip is way back behind your right. They're not going to square, but they can come around a little better. So come on the ball of that back foot and gently bring the hip a little bit further forward. Squeeze the thigh to put the heel back down and then turn the waist so it squares forward. Lift the arms on an inhale, bend into your right knee as you exhale. Bringing it into Virabhadrasana 1, the Warrior 1 pose. Eyes can go up, more advanced, hands can come together, head can come back. Then hands come to heart center, and we're going to lay the torso on the front thigh, and on an exhale breath, you're on the ball of your back foot, you're going to lift up that back leg, taking it into Warrior 3. If you run out of room, just readjust. Square and level your hips. Strengthen both of your thighs. Pull in your low belly. Then soften, micro bend forward leg. Step left leg back. Reach the arms up. Warrior 1, one full breath, all the way in and all the way out, going deeper on that exhale. Inhalation, straighten front leg. Turn the feet so that they face the short mirrored wall. Hands can be on the hips. You can take interlace behind you or reverse prayer if you want to take an arm variation, or you can stand on your head when you get down there. You choose. Take an inhale breath, lift your chest, and on the exhale, hinge forward where the hips meet the thighs. Use your inhale breath to come up. If you are on your head, gently come down and then rise. And then we're going to turn our feet, taking the right foot in, left foot all the way out, coming on the ball of that back foot, bringing the hip around, putting the heel back down, sweep the arms up, square the chest to the back wall, and bend into that left knee. If you dropped your head back on the other side with the hands together, do that here as well. And then hands come to heart center. Lay the torso on the thigh, come on the ball of that back foot, and bring it up. Warrior 3 with hands in prayer. Level the hips, pull in the belly, lengthen the spine. Micro bend forward knee, step back. Warrior 1, one full breath, all the way in, all the way out. Inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, turn the feet so they face the long edge of your mat. Last Prasarita. Tailbone down, all options on the table. Shoulder heads back. Exhale. Coming forward. More breaths. And change. Inhale, rise. Send your arms out. Step in, right and left. Arms go up and out and down. Taking 2 breaths in and out through your nose. For this next pose, which is called Utthita Konasana or triangle, if you know, with straight legs, you're going to have difficulty touching the floor, then grab a block and put your block to the back right corner of your mat. Inhale, raise your arms. Exhale, bring them out. Step out, just short of your wrists. Keep your arms extended. Turn your left foot in 30 degrees. Turn your right foot so it faces the front wall. Tilt on an exhale over to the right, putting your right hand down and your left arm up. It's important that your buttocks is not lifted up behind you and that your chest is not falling towards the floor. So it'd be better to take height than struggle. Shoulder blades up onto an imaginary wall. Turn the waist, chest, shoulders, neck. Don't just throw the arm back. Then inhalation rise. If you have a block, you bend your right knee, you grab your block. You switch your feet. You turn your right foot in, 30 degrees. You turn your left foot all the way out. And then you put your block down behind your left ankle. Arms extending. Inhale. Exhale. Tilting over to the left. Placing your hand on the floor, on a block, on your shin. If you have your hand on your shin, don't press too hard. Shoulder blades on that imaginary wall. And the more you engage your thighs, the more you can tuck the tail, the longer you can get in your spine. And turn your waist and your chest, shoulders, and ultimately neck. One more breath. Inhalation, rise. If you're using your block, go get it. We're going to repeat this pose onto the other side, and then we're going to build on it into a balancing pose called half moon. So, setting up for triangle. Both legs are straight, arms are extended. Take an inhale of the spine, get a little taller. Exhalation breath, tilting out and over to the right. Utthita Trikonasana, triangle. Then the top hand comes onto the hip. You can choose to bring your block with you, or you can put your block to the side for this part. And then right hand moves forward, and you lift your back leg. Coming into Ardha Chandrasana, the beautiful half moon. Once you have your balance, your top arm can go up again. Keep both your feet active. Turn your waist, turn your chest, turn your shoulders. If you can, turn your neck looking skyward. Now, micro bend your forward knee. Be mindful. Step the left leg back. You can re-grab your block if you like. Coming back into triangle, one full breath. Work to lengthen the right side body a little bit more. Lift the chest. Then inhalation, breath, rise. Switch the sides. Right foot in, left foot out. Inhale, breath lengthen. Exhale, breath tilt. Top hand comes to hip. Left knee bends. Left hand moves forward. Right leg lifts up. Once you have your balance, you lift your top arm. Keep your feet active. Turning your waist, turning your chest, turning your shoulders. Keep breathing. Micro bend into that forward leg. Be mindful of your joints. Step back. You can re-grab your block. Triangle, one full breath, all the way in, all the way out. Get longer in that left side body. Inhale, rise. Turn your feet so they face forward. Step in. Arms up. And out. And down. 3 breaths. Certainly you could grab some water if you need it. Move your blocks to the side. And then we're going to turn and face forward and step all the way to the back of your mat. And we'll do a little more balancing. Standing in the back of your mat, bring your hands to heart center. Focus and concentrate. We're going to take the right foot and step it forward. And point the toes to the left. And the upper body starts to lower as the leg begins to lift behind you. And when you get parallel to the ground, you're going to send your arms back. And you take your torso towards the top of your mat as you lift your leg behind you skyward, taking that plane in for a landing. Then the hands go down, and you continue lifting the leg up for standing split. Urdhva, Prasarita, Eka Padasana. Walking the hands a little further back. Intensify the stretch if you like by reaching back with your right hand behind your right ankle and lifting the leg in the air a little higher. Rotate the thigh in, don't wing your leg out to the side. Now listen to the instruction. Hands are onto the mat out in front of the foot. The leg that's in the air steps back. You might need to micro bend your forward leg. 2.5 feet back with that left leg. Head coming to knee. Parsvottanasana. Work to level your hips. Right hip back and up, left hip down and forward. Then put the hands in prayer above your head. Inhale and rise up. And step back and bring your hands to heart center. Other side. Left foot steps forward. Point the toes to the right. Upper body starts to lower. Leg lifted behind. When you get parallel to the ground, open your arms and start bringing that plate in for a landing. Put the hands to the floor. Good job. Lifting the legs higher. Literally as though you were doing a split onto the back wall. Rotate the thigh inward toward the other thigh. Lift the leg higher. Intensify the stretch by bringing left hand behind left calf. Bring forehead as you're able to shift. Gorgeous poses. Then bring the hands out in front of the foot. Micro bend forward leg. Step top leg back 2.5 feet. Put the head to the knee. This pose is one of your most important fundamental poses, Parsvottanasana, pyramid pose, or the extended side triangle. You're going to see this again in this sequence, just like you see down dog again in this sequence, because it's a very important pose. It's also why we repeat the triangle 2 times in a row and build on it. So anything you see a lot, it's not because it's easy, it's because they create your foundation. Like your ABCs. Then inhale and rise. Step back. And this time, Samastiti. And I'm going to tell you something interesting like I teach in teacher training. This pose, the mountain pose, is in every single yoga pose you do. So whenever you're in a pose and you start to feel like something's not quite working, go re-establish Tadasana while you're in the pose to the best of your ability. And I'll emphasize a little bit of that so you kind of get it a little more as we move through the class, okay? So we're going to turn again and face the far wall and do some more strength building poses now. Balancing and strength building kind of goes together. Inhale, raise your arms above your head. Exhale, bring your arms to the outer walls. Step your feet out underneath your wrists. Keep your arms extended. And we're going to turn the left foot in about 30 degrees and the right foot so that it faces out. And I want you to notice right here, before we've gone any further, did you lose your Tadasana? Because probably a little bit, okay? Press your feet, engage your thighs, tuck your tail, pull in your belly. And the nature of this pose, you have to pull the left side of the ribs back. It's a twist. Gazes to the right, and we're going to bend into the right knee. This is the Warrior 2. Virabhadrasana 2. Arms are at the same height. As you notice that your buttock starts to lift and your belly starts to fall, you've lost your mountain pose. Loop your tail under, pull your belly in, lift the ribs up. You keep reestablishing that. You can hold this pose all day long. We're just going to stay here till 3 o'clock. I'm just kidding. Come a little bit lower. Just 2 o'clock. And then inhale and come up and switch sides. Right foot turns in slightly. Left foot turns out. Arms extended. Left knee bending. Find your Tadasana mountain pose in your warrior two. Press the heels, pull in the belly, lifting through the chest, strengthening the arms. Warriors are strong, not just in body, but also in mind. Focus and come lower. Inhale and come up. Left foot turns in slightly. Right foot turns out. We're going to repeat warrior two and then build on it into side angle flank. Arms extended. Exhalation breath. Right knee bends. Look left. Slide, extend, reach right. Right hand can go in front or behind the ankle. Left arm reaching over. Back injured pregnant, arm up, shoulder issue, hand on hip. Can't reach the floor, right elbow comes to thigh. Now you need to bend that right knee at 90 degrees. Ideally, there's no gap between your right side body and your thigh. Good, then inhale, come all the way up, and switch the sides. Right foot turns in slightly, left foot out, arms extended, find your mountain pose, and then bend into your left knee. Establish your warrior two, look to the right, slide to the left, try to line up your armpit with your knee, and then put your hand down. Bringing the top arm either all the way over or up. Modify as necessary. And I want you to notice, as I see the pose in your body, usually it's more difficult to go to the left. Why? You might think my left side feels like it's more flexible. It's because your right side, if you're right-handed or right side dominant, is strong and it's not letting you go to the left. It's pulling you back a bit. So work a little harder, lengthen, turn, good, and change. Come up, turn your feet forward, step in, arms up, and out, and down. Excellent. Certainly grab some water, take a few extra breaths, and then Liz is going to teach you, she's in teacher training, level 200, and so she is going to teach you Parsvottanasana, revolving triangle, and bring you into dolphin as well. So you come here if you want to.
If you know before we start that your head doesn't quite reach the floor yet in Parsvottanasana, please grab a block or grab one for each side of the mat so that you don't have to move it over. Okay?
We're going to face this way.
Let's turn and face the short mirror ball. Feet together in Tadasana. Inhale, raise your arms up over your head. Exhale, go post the arms and put the place your feet directly under your elbows. Raise your arms again into prayer, only crossing your thumbs. Turn your left foot all the way to the
We'll go to the right first.
to the right first. Okay. To the right, and right foot facing directly the mirrors. On an inhale breath, first of all, if you're hips are not level, feel free to lift up the back foot on the ball of the foot and reset your hips so that they are level with each other. On an inhale breath, stretch out, look back, and come straight down, slowly, and put your palms flat onto the ground or to the block if you're modifying, and your chin and your chest are on your knee. This is a very introspective pose, and it gives you an opportunity to take a deep breath and turn inward. Try to avoid the urge to fidget. So continue to press into your feet. Press your right big toe into the ground and the outer edge of your left foot also. That will ground you and give you additional stability while you are in this pose. If you have any tension in your shoulders and your neck, smooth your shoulders down toward your waist and allow your head to relax completely. Continue to move your hips and level them if you feel that they have shifted a little bit. And for those of you whose legs are completely straight, continue to lift your hips, your sacral area, directly to the ceiling. Take one more deep breath in this pose and see if you find the stillness that this pose will bring you. When you're ready, put your hands in prayer and rise. Bring them up. Pivot to the short mirror wall. Pivot to the left wall. And again, align your hips. Make sure that the left hip and the right hip are balanced. And one more time, raise, look up, inhale, and on the exhale breath, come on down and put your palms down on the ground, or a block if you are using it. Again, continue to press and ground those feet into the mat. You may find that you find additional space to lift up and get those hips directly facing the ceiling. The head should be very heavy and relaxed. One more breath. Again, bring your palms together in prayer and very slowly come up. Pivot to the short mirror wall and pivot to the right one more time. Come down one more time into Ardha Uttanasana. And now we're going to do revolve triangle from this particular position. Take your left hand and put it to the outside of your right foot. Now, if you cannot do that, use a block and feel free to put it inside that foot. But if you get your hand to the outside, raise the right arm to the ceiling and begin to twist. Twist from the waist, the ribs, the chest, the neck, and then the head, so that you're facing the ceiling. The left foot, press hard on that left foot to stabilize the pose. Take one deep inhale breath your palms on the ground. And again, bring them from prayer in prayer position. Come up, pivot to the short mirror walk, pivot to the left, and come on down again into Parsvakonasana. For those of you who are very close to touching your forehead to your knee, you can come up a little bit and see if you can make more room by using your core, bringing it in. On the next inhale breath,
Take your right hand.
take your right hand and bring it to the outer edge of your left foot, unless you are modifying with a block, or even if you're just keeping it inside, on the inside part of that foot. Raise your left arm up toward the ceiling. Continue to ground your feet into the mat. Turn your waist, your ribs, your chest, and ultimately your head up toward the ceiling. Take one deep breath here. Bring the arms down, bring the palms down, and then put your hands in prayer again, and rise. Face the short mirror wall, and close your pose. Samastitihi. At this point, we're going to do dolphin pose, so feel free to go ahead and bring your knees and your arms down to the floor. Palms down, knees down. And then bring your forearms either flat, directly in front of you, or if you are modifying, you may use a block between your two hands, or you may also clasp your hands with your elbows out. Tuck the toes forward and lift the hips toward the ceiling. Continue to move the chest and the head towards the feet. Do not allow the shoulders to move forward beyond the elbows. If this is easy for you and your feet are flat on the ground at this point, continue to inch up, foot by foot, move forward, and continue to lift the hips toward the ceiling. This particular pose, dolphin, is an excellent shoulder opener at the same time as an intense stretch on the legs and a core strengthener. On the next, you may want to try one more time, one more to see if you can get inch up just a little bit more on the next inhale breath. And then release your knees to the mat.
Balasana.
Balasana, child's pose.
Good. That was the best. Take a couple of deep breaths here. You know we're going into it again. All right, back up into dolphin. Set yourself up. Elbows slightly narrow at the shoulders, fingers spread wide or interlace or block. Toes tucked under, inhale, upper back. Exhale, lift the seat, up and back. Walk your toes towards your nose. Try to get your heels down, and then we're gonna lift up through the right leg, Ekapani your dolphin. Put that leg down. Lift the other leg up. Put that leg down. Rest. One breath. Make good use of your time. When you get to rest, rest. Unwind. All right, we're going to go back into dolphin, and you have options. You can ekapada one leg up. You can just simply hold your dolphin, working on making it deeper, or you can take it all the way up into forearm balance if you like. All right, set it up. Lift the seat. Walk the toes towards the nose. Go up. One leg, both legs. If you didn't switch your legs yet, go ahead and switch your legs. Friends who like to go up with both legs, go up with your leg that's not dominant. I have to remind myself to do it. All right, guys. Child's pose. 3 breaths. Stand up on your knees. Bring your knees so that they're wide. Big toes to touch. Hands on the hips. If you need support in your sacrum, put your thumbs in your sacrum or your fists in your sacrum. Otherwise, your hands can just be at your hips or at your heart. Loop your tail under. Roll your chest open. Arc backwards. Grab one of your heels. Count. Push your spine toward the front of your body. Breathe from the back to the front. Inhale and rise. And then place your hands down and tuck your toes under and walk a little bit closer to the top of your mat, especially if you know that you're going to shoot back into chaturanga. Okay, that's something that you can work on. This is a great class to work on that. And bring your hands down. Bring your knees to your upper arms and lift your feet up off of the ground. Taking it into Bakasana, crow. If you're not quite there yet, just find a place to look at out in front of you so that you keep your chest open. And then lift one leg, get a feel for it. Put it down. Lift the other foot off the ground, put it down. Some of you can hold it. Try it twice. And you squeeze the inner groin and the feet together. And then if you would like to shoot back, you can press back all the way into chaturanga. Nice job. You can take a vinyasa. A vinyasa is lowering down, chaturanga, hovering off the ground, lifting the chest, up dog, pressing back into down dog. Another option is to lower all the way down to cobra and then press back into downward facing dog. Good. And when we practice power, we do so many vinyasas. But it's a good place to practice those as well. Now we're going to rock forward into a high push-up plank. And move the left hand and the left foot toward the center line of the mat. And then stack your right foot on your left foot for Vashisthasana. This is the side plank. If you need to modify, you can put your bottom knee down. If If you'd like to add some variations, you can hold your big toe, you can lift your bottom leg, your top leg off of your bottom, you can flank your top arm over. Then high push-up plank. And we're going to bend those elbows straight back. Chaturanga, if you need to lower to the floor, do it. Inhalation, curl it into up dog. Exhalation, pull it back into down dog. And we call that taking a vinyasa. Then rock forward, high push-up plank. And right hand and right foot come center. Stacking left on right this time. Holding your pose. Modifying if necessary or adding variations. Holding here for 3, 2, high push-up plank. Now we're going to lower all the way to the ground. We're lowering to the count of 5. Elbows straight back. 4, 3, 2, 1. We're on the ground. Look over to the right. Big toes touch, heels flop open. Palms face up. Deep breaths. Hands, palms up underneath your shoulders, thumbs as wide as your chest. Mouth your forehead onto the mat. Legs zipped up unless you have a back issue. Tuck the tail. Exhale, belly in. Inhale, lift the chest. Bhujangasana, cobra. Exhale, lower. Look left. We're going to repeat that pose, and I'm going to teach you how to drag your chest forward to traction your spine. Here we go. Place the hands, palms up underneath the shoulders. Zip up your legs unless you're modifying. And regardless of whether your legs are together or hip distance, engage your thighs so much that your kneecaps are not on the ground, but the tops of your feet are down. Exhalation, low belly in. Inhale, using arm strength, curl up. Pull the shoulder heads back. Outer buttocks engaging. Thighs engaging. Chest lifting. Eyes up. Now as we lower, press into the heels of your hands. Grip a bit with the tips of your fingers. Bend your elbows, strengthen your thighs, and pull your chest forward. How's that feel? It's good. Look to the right, arms down, palms up. So if you struggle with low back pain, you have a day here and there where you're just like, oh, I just feel so compressed. You do about 3 of those in a row, each time getting a little bit longer, very good exercise will alleviate some of that stress. Now we're going to take the arms out like an airplane, or if you prefer, you can interlace your hands behind you, resting your thumbs on your backside for Shalabhasana. This is the locust pose. Exhale, low belly in. On the inhale, lift upper lower body at the same time. Lifting the chest, straight legs. Lifting the thighs. Pulling in the belly. If you have interlace, you can relax your head. Nice. If your arms are open, you look up. Lift everything up. 1 more ½ inch. And change. Lower. Beautiful. Looking over to the left. Dhanurasana, floor bow. This will be our last belly down, back bend. You have the option, you can hold your feet from the outside, or you can hold them from the inside. So this morning, I need a little extra opening into my chest and shoulders, so I'm going to go inside the foot with my hard part of the elbow facing each other and the soft part of the elbow facing out. Bring the knees together. Feet can be apart in either grip. Take the inhale and start lifting the chest. And you'll find if you flex your feet, if you can hold at your ankles, you get a lot of power. You can press back getting your shins more parallel with the back wall. Then once your chest is up, point your toes, lift your arms up, lift your thighs up. Take a little weight forward. You should feel this compressing your abdomen and all of those vital organs that are on the front side of the body. Lift higher. More. 3, 2, 1. Lower. Left. Down dog. Tuck the toes, press up and back. Notice, this dog feels a lot different than that first dog. Certainly does for me. And then bring your feet side by side. Right leg lifts. Take it forward. Beautiful half pigeon. Left leg is back. If your buttocks floats up high in the air, put a block underneath your seat. Or a towel. Take some height if you need to. And then from here, lift your chest and drag your chest forward, placing your head down. Arms can be out in front of you, or you can put them in prayer behind your head. It's very common when we stretch the hips to get gripping in your throat. Try to relax your throat. Inhale and come up. And bring your back leg forward for both. So put your hands behind you, pull your knees in towards your chest, lift your legs up. If you're able, send your arms forward. If your chest starts sinking, you can put your hands back down and bend your knees. Cross your legs, plant your hands, step back, downward facing dog. And then we're going to take the left leg and bring it up and bring it forward for the half pigeon. If you use a block on the other side, you need to use a block here as well. So what happens is sometimes you have one side a little open more than the other, and you're like, well, this side is doing well. Well then good. Treat it the same as the other until the other side catches up. Okay? Lift your chest and then come forward. Notice if you get any ripping into the throat, relax the tongue. Gently unwind. Bring your back leg forward. And you can go back into your boat, or you can work on what is called Urdhva Paschimottanasana, the upward facing western stretch. It's like this. I like to hold the outsides of my feet, because once I get up there, then I can steer my feet so that they're straight. right? Because I want to get them like that instead of that. Does that make sense? Okay, this is like externally rotating too much, so I got to get the balls of the big toes to come forward. And then from here, I'm going to bend my elbows and lift my chest up, up, up. And it's a balancing pose. Bring your head to your shins. Okay? Or both. Okay. Go ahead up. It's worth a try. Got to steer the feet so you get that good internal rotation. And then start bending the elbows and lift the chest up. There's this dynamic of lifting the chest while pulling the shoulder blades down and bringing your head onto your shins. There's a lot going on in this pose. Holding here for 3, good job. Focus, 2, 1. Fantastic. Put the feet down. Very, very good. I mean, here's the thing. If you see a pose on the cover of Yoga Journal, okay, which that one was on there, it's typically not easy. Okay. Sometimes too, you'll see things like a tree pose on the cover of a magazine like that, and you're like, well, I don't really find that hard. Know that there's a lot more to it then, right? There's a lot more information in there than just, oh, I can balance on one leg. Something else is going on. Go ahead and lie down on your back, and you can do bridge pose, or you can do wheel. We're going to do 2, so I'm going to do bridge and then wheel. Go ahead and tuck your tail under, and start lifting your hips up. If you're doing wheel, you can turn your fingers towards your heels. If you're in bridge, bring the upper arm bones closer to each other underneath. You may even want to interlace. I'm going to go more passive with the palms facing up this morning. Press into the heels, everyone. Pull in the low belly. Lift the chest more. Good, and then slowly articulate. Upper back, middle back, lower back, and ultimately tailbone down to the ground. Setting up for wheel. Turn the fingers towards the heels. Clearly, if you need to do bridge again, do bridge. Take an inhale, come on the crown of the head unless you're injured in the neck, and then go all the way up. Breathe. Get stronger. A little adjustment in the wheel is put your chin on your chest and move your chest to your chin. Then relax your head again. Your back bend will be higher in your back. And then lower. And when we lower, we put our feet together and our knees open, and we rest. Hands can be at the hips, just below the belly button and just above, at the heart. You choose. You can relax your arms down by your sides. We're going to use our hands to close our thighs together, and then you can roll to the side, or you can rock and roll yourself up a couple times. And we're going to go upside down. For this practice, because I know that when folks take the hot style classes, they're not necessarily used to inverting, going upside down. So there's a couple of options for you that get you used to having your legs higher than your heart. The first option is just to simply lift the legs up. The second option is to put the block under the sacrum and lift the legs up. Okay? You can do shoulder stand or headstand. All of those are level 1. My more experienced students, you can do forearm balance, handstand, whatever you're working on. But we need to be upside down for about 2 minutes, because what there is a lot of in this sequence is twisting. And so when you twist a lot, you need to get your legs higher than your heart. It filters the blood through, gets all those toxins that go into the legs up and out. It turns your lungs upside down. It turns everything upside down. It's good. The body enjoys being upside down, so start convincing your mind. If you are pregnant, you cannot be on a block. It's too harsh on the sacral area while you have elastin hormone in your body, stretching your body. So be mindful of that. And the other thing that is necessary is that you are near a wall if you choose to do shoulder stand or headstand, forearm balance, because you can't fall. Make an adjustment physically or mentally or emotionally, do it. And then come down and rest. Child's pose if you are on your head, forearms or hands. Unwind if you were in shoulder stand. If you feel any tension in your neck and shoulders while you're in your child's pose, feel free to interlace behind you. Stretch the arms up and over. And slowly unwind. We're going to turn around. And lie down for happy babies. Happy babies. You're going to bring your legs up. You can hold the outside of your feet. You can hold the inside of your feet. If you want to take it deeper, dive through, lacing your arms around your legs. Rock east and west. Give yourself a good squeeze. And then place your feet down. Pick your hips up and move them over to the left. Open your arms to the right and left. Pull your knees into your chest and drop your knees to the right. If your knees are actually higher than your hips, feel free to extend both of your legs, holding your right foot in your right hand. You'll hold the bottom of the foot at the pinky toe side of the foot with your palm facing up. And then rotate your spine. The straight legs will intensify the stretch. If your legs are not higher than hip height, it's too much stress on your low back. Lift your top leg, followed by the bottom. Pick up the hips, move them over to the right. Pull the knees in. And then if you did straight legs, go ahead and bring the legs over. Knees over. Twist it. If your legs are straight, work to get your top leg stacked directly over the bottom, foot over foot. Knee in line with knee, hip over hip. Fantastic, lifting the top, followed by the bottom. Feet go down, hips come center, Shavasana. Extend your legs long. Rest, close and still your eyes. Those of you that use this class as a prep for Power 2, that's going to start at 10 o'clock. So those of you who are watching at home, you can rejoin at 10. And I'm going to read to y'all a little something. This morning I'm going to read to you from the Dhammapada. This is entitled Mind. As an archer aims an arrow, the wise aim their restless thoughts. Hard to aim, hard to restrain. As a fish hooked and left on the sand thrashes about in agony, the mind, being trained in meditation, trembles all over, desperate to escape the hand of Mara, the tempter. Hard it is to train the mind, which goes where it likes and does what it wants. But a trained mind brings health and happiness. The wise can direct their thoughts, subtle and elusive, wherever they choose. A trained mind brings health and happiness. Those who can direct thoughts, which are unsubstantial and wander so aimlessly, are freed from the bonds of Mara, temptation. They are not wise, whose thoughts are not steady and minds not serene, who do not know Dharma, the law of life. They are wise, whose thoughts are steady and minds serene, unaffected by good and bad. They are awake and free from fear. Remember, this body is like a fragile clay pot. Make your mind a fortress and conquer Mara with the weapon of wisdom. Guard your conquest always. Remember that this body will soon lie in the earth without life, without value, useless as a burned log. More than those who hate you, more than all your enemies, an undisciplined mind does greater harm. More than your mother, more than your father, more than all your family, a well-disciplined mind does greater good. Thank you for letting me teach you. Namaste.
Namaste.